Hello and welcome to the lecture series on Railways, Harbour, Tunneling and Airport for the subject code 18CV645, Module 2, Session 6. In this session, we are going to discuss about modern methods of railway construction, railway station, railway yard, metro rail, monorail and underground railways. Lastly, the references. Moving on to the modern method of railway construction. So, modern methods of railway construction involves three steps. One is use of sophisticated modern technique to carry out the survey work for the railway alignment or railway line. Next is the use of modern geotechnology or geotechnical principle in the preparation of a subgrade or improvisation of the formation. Next is the deployment of a sophisticated modern track machine for laying of the track. So, in this nutshell, it is going to be comprising advanced technology. It is used in the surveying, construction and also with respect to machineries has been concerned. So, this is going to be clubbed together to called as a modern method in railway construction. Moving on to the first part, that is modern surveying technique. As the name itself indicates that apart from the conventional methods of surveying instrument, use of advanced surveying methods like satellite imagery or aerial photograph, digital terrain modeling are going to be utilized in order to decide initial or final alignment of a track. So, that is an advancement we have been using it. Next is the satellite imagery, which is going to be helpful in generating topographical data of the route. That is the what we call as satellite imagery or remote sensing data. By this technique, the initial or rough alignment of a railway line can be checked out by its topographical topo sheet in the drawing office itself. It means no need to go to the field, there is no investment of manpower or the time. So, directly we can analyze the rough alignment for the given topo sheet in the office itself. After that one, subsequently the aerial photographs can be taken for the particular study area. So, which will once again be helpful to get the topographical sheets or imagery or aerial photograph. So, which can be once again regenerated. So, these models will be helpful for the further refining of an alignment to arrive at most optimal solution. So, which can meet all the requirement which is required for the new lining. So, as we know that once tentative alignment is checked in the office or the field unit can be made to get the actual field data includes hydrological data, geological data for the planner to execute the project work. The modern method of surveying technique cannot only the expedite the survey, but also it reduces the cost of the project and also it accelerates or it reduces the time of surveying as compared to the conventional method. So, these are all some of the modern surveying instruments we are been using it. So, say for example, it might be a digital or the total station we are going to be using it. So, this is a DGPS systems we are going to be having it and a GPS system. So, we are been using it for the survey work has been concerned. So, next method is going to be called as an aerial photography. So, in this flights are going to be all the flight paths are so generated to acquire all the required data of a study area. So, number of flight paths are going to be decided depend upon how much area and details to be taken for the entire project. So, apart from that one depends on the accuracy. So, flight speed and altitudes are going to be get adjusted. So, this is also one more method of getting surveying or getting the data for the required field in case of aerial photography. So, in this image, so we can see that the flight at a particular altitude is maintaining its height and over which the camera or the photo is going to be taken for a particular area. Then once again depends upon its speed of a movement. So, each layer is going to be getting overlap. So, entire study area is going to be covered depending upon number of flight paths. Next method of surveying is going to be digital terrain modeling. In this one, exact terrain condition is going to be modeled based on the satellite imagery. So in this one we can see in the terrain model we can see that there is a green, red colors are the variations in a color. So each of the colors will going to indicate vegetations or a water body or a forest, like that. So depending upon this terrain model, so we can easily generate the cross section, and also a rough alignment can be get it by using a DTM or digital terrain module. So this is another method of using modern surveying technique with respect to railway construction has been concerned. So next is going to be modern geotechnology for preparation of a subgrade. So as we know that technology is also started improvising. So many techniques are being adapted in order to increase the strength of a soil or a poor subgrade soil. So depending upon the soil condition, different techniques or the remedial measures is readily available, or we can use it. Say for example, first one we can use as a prefabricated vertical drain and preloading, so in order to have a consolidation. Next is a removal of a soft soil to a limited depth and replacing with a good material as a fill material. Next is a provision of inverted filter. So inverted filter means whenever we are going to cut off the water inflow into the structure or any component, so this inverted filters are going to be provided. Usually above the subgrade we can provide the inverted filter, or below the subbase, or if it is going to be embankment over 500 meter above, that is considered to be an subgrade strata, so we can provide the inverted filter material. So we can use it any geotextile or any fabric or any other material which is having a good filter property. Next is a grouting. Suppose if we want to increase the strength of a soil, we can opt this cement grouting. So after that one is going to be a provision of sand piles and stabilization achieved through geotextile. So these methods I already explained in the previous sessions in the stabilization of a soil with respect to poor subgrade. So these are the what we say the modern geotechnological methods it is adapted to improve or the preparation of subgrade or the formation. So next is the deployment of a sophisticated modern track machines for laying of a track. So this is a third method or the third system we have been adopting with respect to machineries has been concerned. So as we know that the modern track machines will going to helpful, or it is going to be link the track with the help of portal crane, or it is used for pre-assembled panel. So deployment of automatic train relaying train where the track linking items are going to be done automatically with a single set of machine, so it expedites the work at a greater precision. So that is the importance of modern method. So it saves the time and it saves the manpower. So apart from that one, accuracy can be easily maintained. So that is the advantage of using modern track laying machines. So this is an image. It shows that it is a moving a portal frame or a crane. So that is going to be a lifting assembly with already assembled panels of track system, where we are going to be having a sleepers and other assemblies. So in this image it is showing the track, it is been laid or in a progression with respect to track assembly with other component or the sleeper. So in this image the cranes are going to be lifting and it started moving in the forward direction according to the constructions to be needed. So the entire track, or what we say that the sleeper assembly, it is been already assembled in depot and it is brought to the site and it is been placed in the subsequent manner as per the requirement. So this is how we are been utilizing the modern surveying techniques or the technologies or the instrument along with the improved geotechnological principle and deployment of modern methods of machineries in order to get the quick and easier and also the durable track network. So in order to do so that we are going to be using different methods or the machineries to accomplish the task. So in this table we are going to be discussing the modern means of construction. So as per our Indian Railway uses a few of the track machineries for the construction purpose, also from the maintenance point of view. First is going to be the track machine called as Plasmatic 6 of 6 USLC. Its function is going to be tamping, leveling and lining. Apart from that one, it is going to be consisting of 16 tamping tool, so that it can tap one sleeper at a time. So its output is going to be, so it can lay around 700 sleepers per hour. So that is its capacity or the output. Similarly, Plasmatic 08 pneumatic tamper, so its function is going to be once again similar to the predecessor. So its output rate is going to be 1000 sleepers per hour capacity. So that is with respect to tamping has been concerned. Similarly, if you want to lay the sleeper, the Plasmatic 08 pneumatic or pneumatic tamper, so it is consisting of 32 tamping tools instead of 16 as compared to the previous one. So apart from that one, it can compact both the two sleepers at a time. So that is an advantage. Hence the output is going to be 2000 sleepers per hour. So that is the advantage of this tamper machine has been concerned. So next is going to be the placer of a 09 CSM tamper. So the function is going to be once again similar to that of a tamping, leveling and lining, and simultaneously it can have some advances so that it can continuously lie, and while tamping is done from sleeper to sleeper. So as per this latest machine has been concerned, so this machine can have an output of 2500 sleepers per hour, so that it can lay per hour. So that is the capacity of this machine. Similarly, we are going to be having another machine, Placer 8275. So next is going to be the DGS of 6-2N stabilizer. So that is a track stabilizer. So the purpose is going to be a dynamic stabilization of a track that uses vibratory rollers, and further it stabilizes the track. Output is going to be some around 500 sleepers per hour. Similarly, we are going to be having different types of machines. We are been using it in order to have or in order to speed up the construction and to achieve in a shorter period of timing. Next is going to be a train relaying train, that is a TRT. So as we know that relays the entire track automatically and with very little manual effort. So its output is going to be the latest state, so it can accomplish a relaying of 1 kilometer of a track per day within a 4 hours of a timing. So that is an advantage of using modern equipment for the construction. So next, as we know that some more methods are being adapted with respect to the maintenance part has been concerned, that is called as a mechanized track maintenance. So this mechanized track maintenance is going to be using some track laying machines or track machines. So next is going to be the track recording cars. Next is USFD, that is a ultrasonic flaw detection machines or testing of a rails, that is for the welding. Next is self-propelled automatic rail tester, that is a SPVT cars. Then track circuiting panels, anti-collision devices, use of GPS, which is replaced by some of the conventional maintenance methods. So in this image we can see that it is going to be a track regarding car. It is being using for the maintenance purpose has been concerned. So this track maintenance is going to be gathers the data, whatever the thing it is been required apart from smoothness or the flaws in the network. So next is the image, it is showing a USFD, that is a ultrasonic flaw detection. So depending upon the movement, so we can easily judge that the sum of the sensors, so the ultrasonic pulse has been generated along the track, and depending upon the flaw detection, so the monitor is going to be displaying along the length of a track and the defects depending upon the pulses of ultrasonic waves. So what is the advantages of using a mechanized track maintenance? So as we know that it can be maintained the LWR, that is a long weighted track for high speed traffic, automatic track maintenance with a little human interference and effort. Its high speed of operation is particularly beneficial for restoration of track geometry after deep screening or relaying of the shortest possible timing. Then the slipper is going to be tampered from all the side so that it can exert the equal pressure and even when it is not perfectly square. So these are the advantages if we use some mechanized track maintenance system as compared to conventional one. So this is the image, it is been showing tamping machine. So try to see that this is a vibratory roller, it is been attached, so that as the vehicle moves along the direction or its progresses, so these tampers are going to be having a extruded bar, so it can push over the ballast inside, or it packs the material inside or bottom of the sleepers. So apart from that one, so these vibrations are going to be given so that the exact density are going to be achieved by this tamping machine. So this is a pulsar machine having a tamping mechanism. So next machine is once again this is a Unimat company. So we are going to be having a tamping. So in this one we are going to be seeing the mechanism remains the same, but the capacity wise it is going to be differ. So the same assembly, we can see the tamper, it can vibrate and it can push the ballast in a proper position along with the alignment. So next image is going to be the track laying machine. So try to see that. So this when the sleepers are going to be already fixed, the rails are brought in place and it is being continuously welded or depends upon the jointing. So these machines are going to pass through over the laid over sleeper, then this assembly fixes the rails into the sleepers with the proper positioning and proper compaction. So after that one, if we need welding, or it can be done continuously. So this is another image how we are going to be placing the sleepers. So in this case, the sleepers are going to be brought by the moving crane or moving assembly from the depot. So from that one, the automatically the machines is going to be put the sleepers onto the track, or sometimes it is having a pre-assembled system of sleepers and a rail. So that is going to be continuously put over the ground when it is going to be used for the track laying machines concerned. So this is the another image, so in which the sleepers or the assembly is going to be brought to the site and it has been properly placed over the sleepers and it has been fitted with all the fixtures along with the joints. So this is another machine, it has been used. So this is called as a track motor vehicle. So whenever we want to require for a repairing or to have the sleepers to be lifted, so it is having a inbuilt boom so that the maintenance work can be done simultaneously. So this is called a track motor vehicle, so in which the maintenance can be done. So once again it is going to be the from the maintenance point. So another image we are been showing over here, it is called as a track stabilizer. So it stabilizes the track by using both vibrations. So you can see that vibrators are attached, so it maintains the track assembly in proper leveling. Next is going to be a transport wagon. So this is the image, it shows that transport wagon for the turnout, it carries as a part of turnout. So try to see the images. So this assembly is going to carrying the turnout assembly for the transport. So this is another type of machineries we are been using it for the ease of transport. As after assembling the sleepers and the rails in a proper position, after fitting and fixing of fixtures. So we need to spread the ballast, hence the ballast distribution. Once again we are been having a machine. So as we know that if you place the ballast in the containers or in a bin, so automatically depending upon the width of a opening or the speed, how much depth it should be maintained. So ballast is distributed evenly by using this ballast distribution machine. So as we know that once the ballast is been put into the construction site and when operations start, so after some period of a timing it needs to be a renewal, because as we know, because of continuous battering effect of rail, after that topographical variations or the wind or the dust, so this needs to be cleaned and it needs to be renewed at particular period of a interval of a timing. So to do that one, we are been using one more type of a machine. It is called continuous track renewal and ballast cleaning or ballast bed cleaning machine. So it cleans adjacent side of the ballast. It is been left over along the sides of a sleeper. So through the conveyor belt it is being passed over the mill and it is being cleaned. So once again according to the sieve sizes, so the material is going to be placed and it is being compacted. So that is another type of machine to expedite the project or for the maintenance it is being used. So next type of a machine is going to be the APT of 1500R. So that is once again the pressure machine. So the advantage of using this is going to be, so whatever the thermite welding or type of welding it is being adopted, it may be SWR or LWR. So continuously these machines without having any human interference, the accuracy and exact welding is shapes are going to be maintained. So this is the advantage of using the welding machine APT 1500R. So that is the same machine, it has been shown in an enlarged condition. So whatever the welding it is been required, say for example here we are seeing the joint for the welding. So this machine, the APT 1500 RRRA, so it will automatically takes account of the gap it needs to be filled. The material or the futures are going to be get heated according to the requirement and it is being placed. So after that one, the extra material is which is been there after welding, it is been cleaned, properly leveled. So all sorts of exercise is going to be taken care by using the machine called welding machine. This is the image taken from the placer. So this is the type of a machine. It is used as a crawler type. This is specially used for installation or the removal of a turnout as a parts of turnout or track panel. So we can see that it is having a crawling wheels on the crabs. So on the either side we have been having this crawler wheel. So the machine is going to be used to install a new turnout, or we can remove or a replacement, or from the maintenance point of view this crawler type of turnout is going to be used. So this is the machine, it is been having its advantage. So wherever the turnout junctions are there, so we can see the turnout here in this image. So the turnout is going to be maintained according to this machines. So this is the machine, it can fit the sleepers and the rails in a proper position. So easily it can deploy in the depot, or it can be used in case of the on-site conditions also. This machine is going to be called as assembler. So it assembles sleepers according to the required center to center distance. It means that what exactly the distance to be provided in between the two sleepers, then it started providing the continuously over the conveyor belt, where in which the sleepers are getting loaded. So this is the another view of track laying machine. So in which try to see this crawler wheel is started moving, where one part we have been having a sleepers, it is been taken from the depot and it is been continuously supplied over to this machine, over which the rails are going to be pulled and it is been placed over the sleepers with the fitting continuously. So this is how the rails are been getting shifted and it is been placed. So this is the track assembling machinery or the sleeper fixation. So it holds the sleepers in position and it fixes the rails. So after that one, a compaction is going to be done simultaneously. So apart from that one, as we know that whether the laid track is been in a perfect level or to check any flaws in the geometry, we are been using some advanced surveying equipment in the form of construction or track laying. So try to see that this is going to be a laser machine, or it may be of what we say the EDM or the whatever the equipment. So through this laser guided path, so we can note what exactly the level of a track we are been maintaining over the construction. So as we see that this is a easiest thing to understand. The heavy capacity boom of a crane, it lifts the assembly of track from the depot, or it is been offsite condition. So that is the cranes, that is also a type of machinery used in construction. So these are all the small machines, so we can use it for grinding or fixing of the fixtures, etc. So this is a depot in which a segments of sleepers are been getting ready at the depot. So these sleepers are once again carried through the vehicles, just what I had been shown in this image. So this image, so where the continuously the sleepers are going to be put, then the continuous work is going to be in progress. So this is how whatever the fixtures or the boards or the whatever the bearings it has to be placed, so this is going to be taken care in the assembly line or in the depot. So another image of a plaster which shows the dynamic tamping machine, so that I had already explained. So moving on to the next concept, it is called a railway station and a yard. So always we had been using the station, so we already known what exactly the meaning of a station, but how do we define the railway station? So railway station is nothing but it is a selected location along the railway track where train can stop for boarding or alighting of a passenger, or otherwise loading and unloading of a goods, or otherwise detachment or attaching of a wagon at a compartment, so or otherwise crossing of a trains, or otherwise fueling or watering for the locomotive takes place. So entire sorts of events or whatever the thing it is been used, so that particular location is called as an railway station. So purpose of providing a railway station, so as we know that it serves many of the purpose to entertain or to detain, that is a with respect to passenger, as far as the loading has been concerned, loading of a goods or unloading of a parcels, controlling movement of a train. So it enables to cross each other in a, if in case of a single lane of a track has been concerned. Apart from that one, to enable the faster moving train to overtake the slower one. So after that, for any refueling water or diesel to be filled, that is in the station. Attachment and detachment of a coaching of the wagons, or to collect the food or the water for the passenger. So apart from that one, it also provides the facility for changing a engine crew or the staff. It enables the sorting out the wagon or the bogies to form a new train. After that one, it also provides the shelter for the passenger in case of emergencies, just like rain or in case of a floods or any accident, so which disturb the traffic. So these are all the functions or the purpose of railway station. So this is an image, it can show that it is a railway station upon which we can see this is the platform, then this is a track. So this might be first platform or this might be a second platform. So depending upon the capacity, so number of platforms are there, then it is being covered, that is the shelter. So apart from that one, so try to see that there may be of many facilities it is been provided over length of its station. So what are the requirement or the facilities which is been provided at a railway station? So there will be of 4 requirement. One is with respect to the passenger requirement, next is with respect to traffic, next is a locomotive, and lastly the staff requirement. So these 4 requirements has to be fulfilled in any of the railway station. Moving on to the first one, it is called as a passenger requirement. This includes the waiting room, retiring room, refreshments, tea stalls or any enquiries, reservation officers, bathroom, toilets, drinking water facility, platform and its shed and approach area or approach road. So these are the requirements as compared with the passenger requirement. Moving to the traffic requirement, as we know that traffic in the sense goods shed is going to be required along the platform. So some station building for the station master office, other administrative officers, then signaling and signal cabin, reception and departure lining, and siding arrangement for dealing with broken down train, and also some station equipment. So these are with respect to traffic requirement. Moving on to the locomotive and carriage of a wagon requirement. So as we know that it includes the locomotive shed. So for the wagon to be repaired or any of the things or fueling, watering and fueling facility to be required. So to turn the engine, it requires turntable. So next is the inspection fit and ash pit or ash tray. So these are with respect to the carriage or locomotive wagon requirement has been concerned. Moving on to the last requirement, that is to operate all these things you require some staff. So from that point this includes rest houses for the officers, for the staff members, or running rooms for the guard or for the driver, along with staff canteen is going to be provided. So these are all some of the requirement with respect to railway stations has been concerned. So there will be different types of station according to function. We can classify the railway station. So we just previously observed what is the station and what are the functions to be done. So based on the classification, these are based on the function. First one is called as an halt station, next is a flag station, the crossing station, junctions and terminal. So as we know that the importance is going to be increasing from halt station to a terminal, because number of junctions or the facilities to be provided is going to be much more important in case of junctions and terminal as compared to the halt station. So this is a terminology we are been using it. Sometimes we can see in some of the places of railway station it is called as a halt. So that is the station it is meant for it. So in few of the things it has been flag stations. So we are discussed about the railway station and classifications of railway stations has been concerned. So next, one more terminology we are repeatedly using it. It is called as a railway yard. So yard is a system of a track which is laid out to deal with the passenger as well as the goods traffic, which is being handled by the railway. So this includes the receipt and dispatch of a trains, apart from the stabling or the sorting operations, marshalling and other such functions. Next is the movement of a trains on the yard. So are not going to be governed by the timetable. However, the movements are going to be get controlled by the signals. So once again railway yards are going to be classified. So these are all the different types of yard. So as we classified the station based on its function, similarly we are been classifying the yards, namely the coaching yard, then goods yard, marshalling yard. So in the marshalling yard we are been having 3 types. One is a flat, gravitational and hump. Next type of a yard is going to be locomotive yard and sick line yard. So more importantly, and from the examination point of view, the marshalling yard is important, hence I took the marshalling yard only for the discussion. Marshalling yards are the railway yard where in which the goods trains are going to be received, sorted out, reformed and dispatched to its respective destination. So that is an importance of marshalling yard. So I repeat, the marshalling yard are going to be the railway yard where in which the goods trains are going to be received, sorted, reformed and dispatched to its respective destination. So, that is the main motive of providing marshalling yard. So, the marshalling are it's going to be giving the orderly arrangement of a train, which is done in so that the wagons are going to be conveniently detached to its route along the wayside of a station without having much shunting operation. So, that is for providing the marshalling yard. So, apart from that one, marshalling yard facilitates the flow of commerce and keep the railway station busy or the vibrant. So, the functions of a marshalling yard is going to be dealt with reception, sorting and departure yard. Moving to the reception siding, the marshalling yard will going to receive the incoming train. Reception lines are going to be having a branches from main line and terminate at the dead end like a siding. So, that is the reception has been comprises of. The reception lines are in the form of a grid. So, incoming goods trains are going to be stand on a reception siding and wait for the turn for their shunting operation. Next is a sorting. So, wagons are going to be get sorted through the shunting operation. Each of the siding in the sorting yard is allotted to a particular destination or the direction as it is going to be required. Thus, individual wagons are going to be getting sorted out according to their respective destination. This is normally done through the hump with the shunting neck and sorting siding. Next function is of a marshalling as is a departure yard. Once it is been sorted out, train need to be departed through the departure yard. So, normally the reception yard and the sorting yard departure yards are going to be provided in continuations to each other for the proper operation. If it needs, a separate yard may be provided to deal with the up and down traffic. Normally, two trains are being preferable as which do not require a sorting and can run through the main line without having any obstructions for the flow. So, these are the functions and different types of yards, railway yards has been concerned. So, how we are going to be design a marshalling yard? So, we are been using some principles in designing the marshalling yard. So, first one is the detention in a marshalling yard should be based on the barest minimum timing. Next is idling of the time in the yard should be avoided. So, wagon movement should be unidirectional because for ease of a movement and safety. Then leads of a movement of a wagon and a engine should be as short as possible. Marshalling yard should be always well lighted for because it requires continuous operations of a shunting or sorting. So, adequate scope for the future expansion has to be taken into account. So, these are all guiding principle with respect to the marshalling has been concerned. So, this is the image upon which we can see how the marshalling yard is going to be taken into account. So, these are all the number of arrival track. So, depending upon that one, so once again we can divert the train according to the required sorting operation. Once again, if it is been sorted, it is been deported to the respective destination. Similarly, depending upon the number of lines and number of approaches, so it is being sorted out, or sometimes if you want to move in the direction, so once again it can be taken away. So, that is an importance of marshalling has been concerned. So, we can see here, so that is in hump, then the arrival track and departure track. So, this is the image we can see it, that is in the practically we can see the image. So, these are the arrival lines, so in which the sorting is going to be done. So, we can have some departing line and once again main lines are going to be concerned. So, these are the principles when you are going to be adopting with respect to railway yards, with respect to the number of lanes, traffic intensity to be catered. So, that is with respect to railway yard has been concerned. Moving on to the next concept, it is called urban rail infrastructure. As we know that Indian urban development is going to be a massive one. So, according to the demand required for the population, so according to the statistics, as we know that urban population is been concentrated in a handful of metropolitan cities. So this is going to be more than 50% of urban population of in India, which is just located in about only the 25 metro cities. So as the population increases, it requires more demand for the transport. So more transport in the form of a quicker and a cheaper mode of transport. Hence always rails are going to be better as compared to the road system or the other modes of transport. So as we know that this significance number, consequently we need to develop some or the other modes as I explained. So as per the 2001 census, India has got about 35 metropolitan cities, which is going to be including all the 4 existing national metros like Mumbai, New Delhi, Calcutta and Chennai. So each of these cities is demanding a passenger load of 10,000 passenger or even more passenger per hour per direction has been concerned. So apart from that one, in order to minimize the delay of travel or to decongest it or to avoid the pollution or to avoid the accident, urban rail infrastructure has to be constructed. So these are all the different modes of mass transit or mass transport. It has been provided in any of the metros has been concerned, depending upon the type of planning and network and loading. So first one is a motorized bus, depending upon the capacity. Next is going to be the trolley buses, so tramways, two-ways, LRT, that is a light rail transit system, then a mass rapid system, suburban rails, metro, mono and sky buses. So these are all different modes of mass transit systems we have been adopting. So apart from that one, as we know that a light rail, the tramway, so it is going to be the method of providing transport in urban rail. So next is going to be suburban, metro and mono. So these are going to be come under rail for the transport. Moving on to the concept of a metro. So as we already studied the infrastructures to be required for the metro status of a cities, there are currently 13 operational routes as metro has been concerned. So that is always called as rapid transit systems. So in India, so as far as the January 2021 census data has been concerned, in India we have been having around 760 kilometers of operational metro line and having an average of 540 stations. So that is the statistics. So as a further requirement, another 578 kilometers of line is still under construction. So metro line in India is always going to be using the standard gauge, so try to keep it in mind. So whatever the metro, if you speak about, it is a maintaining a standard gauge instead of the broad gauge. So only in Delhi, I think in the earlier phases they had used the broad gauge for the construction. So all new projects in India now it is been standardized to use the standard gauge for the rolling stock. So this is the image wherein we can see the Bangalore metro station. So and the metro rail. Apart from that one, we can see how the traffic is going to be get diverted or it is been shifting towards the mass transit. Moving on to the another concept, it is called as a monorail. It is a name itself indicates monorail is going to be formed in the elevated railway. So that is only provided by using only one rail for the operation for the train movement. So such system of rail we are going to be called as an monorail, because a single rail for the operation of a train. Sorry, this example is going to be a Mumbai monorail. So the trains can be suspended on the monorail. So the in case of Montreal or Canada, or it can be mounted in the pylon, just in the example of Tokyo. The monorail system is going to be recommended only in exceptional cases of operation, wherein which the conventional system of operation is felt to be difficult. So this is a somewhat cost effective option as a metropolis or a megalopolis has been concerned. monorail is been first placed in Japan in the starting of 1952. So that is a brief introduction about monorail. So this is an image, it shows the Mumbai monorail has been concerned. So try to see that depending upon the direction changes. So this is a single line of or single rail is been provided upon which the movement is going to be taken, that is called a monorail. So this is a monorail station in the Mumbai. So next type is going to be the underground railway. It depends upon the alignment to be constructed in some part of the rail network. So underground railways are going to be constructed, as the name itself indicates, it is going to be below the ground level. So the requisite for the construction work is going to be mainly done by using cut and cover method. So whenever open space is going to be available, the cut and cover method is adopted. So the area which is required for the excavation for the required shape of the trench, and once the formation is going to be get ready, the track is being laid and necessary overhead structures are provided, and finally trench is been covered by the covering or the lining. Then the ground is going to be restored for its original state for the operation. So advantage of this underground train is going to be less interference or the less obstruction with respect to the traffic system, because there is no road crossing or any other similar problems is going to be encountered. So it is a dedicated line. Yeah, the train move at incredible speed. Underground railways can be dealt at a higher speed or a concentration of human traffic. So there is no wastage of a land or a land area of the city. So it should be otherwise being used for surface rail or remaining available for other modes or other utilities. It provides safety from the aerial attack, and particularly during the strategic or the war. Limitation of underground railway is that the cost to arrange to construct this underground is going to be somewhat higher as compared to the other type of networking. Special attention has to be taken care, because with respect to two criteria, one is drainage, so another one is going to be the ventilation, because proper ventilation and drainage is going to be continuously monitored for the safer operation of the network. So during construction, the residents of the cities are greatly inconvenienced because of excavation. So that has been carried normally throughout the city. So that is a somewhat hindrance it has been causing for the surface mode, as it is been cut open. So this is the underground railway. Some typical cross sections we can use it. That is a rectangular type or a box type. So center to center line is going to be somewhere around 4.4 meter, and each is going to be having 4.26 meters of width. So in which the standard rails are going to be operated, and the standard height is going to be from the bottom of the to the top surface of the tunnel is going to be around 4.4 meters. So depending upon the number of lanes, so width is going to be getting increased. So apart from that one, so we need to also consider lining from all the adjacent side. So this is a hunching on the corner. So in order to take up the loading, we need to have the minimum width according to the conditions of a siting and also the pressure it is being exerted. So as we know that, as I explained already, this is a cut and cover method. In this case, excavation is going to be done by the cut and cover. This method is going to be affect of public services such as the amenity lines of a water supply, sewer line or electric line or a telephone line. So it needs to be diverted or sometimes suspended for temporarily. Next is going to be the tunnel section. The tunnels which are being using for the underground railway is going to be dug for a very deep into below the ground level. So such below the level at which the ground is going to be dug for its water or sewage main line, or sometimes there is a crossover of high tension or electric cables. So usually circular sections of tunnel is going to be made, because due to the application of a modern technique, so it involves the pushing or a big pipe over an adequate size through the ground. So that is the technique. Apart from that one, circular sections is going to be resist more load because of its arch or geometry. The necessary of infrastructure is then provided within the circular tunnel. So as it has been no obstruction from the site condition, so inside we can maintain other or any provisions for the infrastructure. So this is an image. It shows that it is a tunnel section. Try to observe it how the railway track is being placed. So in the bottom we are been using a rolling stock. This is a concrete lining. So entire thing is been concrete line. It is been more stable one. So this is a broader gauge line which has been having a gauge of 1.676 meters, then slide having a 600 mm or footbath it is required for the standard operation. So likewise the underground tunnel sections are being prepared. So this depends upon intensity of a traffic and any other amenities to be provided. So with this note we are going to be concluding this session. In this session we have discussed about the modern methods of construction of a railway network, starting from surveying to the equipment. Then we have defined the definitions of a railway station, railway yard, then the concepts of mono and metro and underground railway system. So in order to prepare these sessions, we had referred the textbook as mentioned in the syllabus. So apart from that one, a few of the images has been referred from the Placer website. Thank you.